For those of you who actually stuck around for the channel for quite a long time now, I'm not sure if you actually know this fact, but I like to say I never ever actually played CSGO in my entire time when I was playing Ballistic Overkill, and obviously a lot of you who's been watching my channel are actually CSGO's veterans. And then I would say if I were to play with anyone that's in my friend list or any viewer who actually happened to watch this channel and play a game of CSGO, 99% of the chance I probably get wrecked to shreds by them because they played the game much more longer than I would. So that is when 2 weeks ago I actually decided to take a stab at the game and see what's all the hype about and see how much difference compared to the other shooters I used to play, such as Ballistic Overkill, Destiny 2, some rather random shooters I haven't played for quite a long time, but yep, this is basically my very first experience, and oh boy, I totally get my ass kicked by that game because mechanically it's a lot more different from what I used to, and of course it's such a learning curve I had to go through, and of course CSGO really pushes you up to the utmost limit to target everything that you have as a player, such as knowing your maps, going for angles, and learning how the weapon behaves with their spread patterns and such, and with all that mechanics that you have to learn through when you're playing on the very first time. It's such a steep learning curve for me to learn through, and it did took me some time to know how the game behaves and some mechanics I had to learn through and such. And yeah, obviously I struggled a lot for the first couple of rounds because at first I played in casual mode and I literally gone there just blind, don't know what I was doing, and all this time I'm being shot across the map by either sniper rifles or getting instantly gunned down by assault rifles or SMGs or even shotguns too. And I was like, how am I being killed all this time? Like, what's going on with it? And that was not until I actually decided to go on the web and start looking at all these things that CSGO has to offer, things you have to know, recoil patterns, and basically some guides that veteran CSGO players posted into YouTube just to provide us new players about it. And that was when I actually started to understand how does it work and some tips and strategies on how to make yourself succeed, not just by yourself but overall as a player for any other person shooter games, because those skills that you can actually learn from CSGO can literally carry on to other games that you play, and literally those games that is not CSGO will literally just make the games you played before CSGO was just like, oh my god, what have I been doing all this time? And it was a great learning experience for me just to experience why this game's so popular, why many of Ballistic Overkill players play this game in the first place, because it literally kicks you in the ass just to go through all the stuff you had to learn through. And I'll totally already bet you pour in a lot more hours in CSGO compared to Ballistic Overkill, and obviously that kind of reflects how much experience you've gone through, all the losses, all the deaths, and all that time. Like, hey, I got killed, what is that reason why I got killed in the first place? And all that time you invested in CSGO, I believe is really worth it to be where you're at right now, so you have my respect. And obviously, if there's one caveat that's behind CSGO that I really don't like about it, it's not just the mechanics or the learning curve and such, but it's really just the environment that the game places you're in. And it's not the map environment, it's not the gameplay that works, but it's more like the community, and sometimes they just go in their voice chat and they say random things I don't like to hear whenever I play games. Most of the time when I actually play either like solo or just be with a party member, I like to be, focus on my game, focus on like whatever I'm doing. But in the game of CSGO though, obviously you actually have this option that other players from not just only your team but the opposing team can actually start commenting you too, and it gets pretty annoying that one player really throws all the salt at you because either you're playing so well against them or you're probably using some cheap weaponry that CSGO has to have. I don't know. Don't quote me on that because I haven't played the game long enough to know these stuff. But the environment is not something I would like to be in that quite long, because if I can't actually take the time to improve myself in the game, start like learning mechanics, while I actually have to deal with these people that actually do like to call over the voice chat and then basically comment and say, oh my god, you're basically trash and such. But obviously I can give you the example right now that I play against this person and he's basically calling out almost every time whenever I kill him or he kills me, and that just not makes it a pleasing experience. But I'll show you right now what he's going to do for a couple of minutes just for example.
Get out of my game, Fruit, Samurai G. You suck, MJ! Bro, you suck! Bro, suck my... Oh, Kenny. It's Kenny. It's Kenny. Come on! Okay, Fruit Samurai, or Fruit Salad, you suck. I don't know if you can hear me, but... I let you.
And you can see from a couple of clips of him just basically screwing out of his voice chat. I know there are some options out there that can actually lower the volume, but it doesn't really help that I actually have to go through experience of one player is basically critiquing your style of play when you just basically just jump into the game of CSGO and try to learn the whole entire mechanic. And some people might insult you saying that, oh, why you actually bring an auto rifle to a death match when I just jumped into the game just recently with not that much hours in the game, and I'm still learning on how to play CSGO much more efficiently and effectively, so that way I can perform much better in playing CSGO, and probably, hopefully I can actually take the skills from CSGO and import it into Blizz's Overkill so that I could probably improve much more better. But obviously with an environment like this where people start trash talking you and then I can't really focus on my game, it doesn't make very much fun experience. But other than that, for CSGO though, not just for the community wise, but I think it's just something in my personal end, but in the game of Blizz's Overkill and probably even Destiny 2, I'm kind of used to having very fluid motion in the game. Just like saying, like, when you're running, you feel like you're running much more faster than you should be, and when you're crouching, you're actually crouching. But in CSGO though, for some odd reason though, I just can't feel the movement at all. I feel like it's kind of restricting, and I'm not just saying like it's bad at all, because like some people saying like, okay, the movement is supposed to be like this because it's built like that, and obviously we like it that way. But again, this is coming from a person who's playing Blizzard's Overkill for most of my lifetime, ever since the free-to-play version, and coming into a very old game that's been around for quite a long time now, and basically switching for something super advanced and very well developed in terms of their movement mechanic into a game that's been a little bit dated. It feels kind of awkward just to play that, and I just feel like running around the map or walking, crouching, it feels very odd just to move through it. And then obviously it takes some practice to get used to it, but it feels a little bit jaggedy to me. And it's just like whenever I play a game of CSGO and then jump into Blizzard's Overkill, obviously Blizzard's Overkill is going to win me much more over in terms of movement, because I feel like you can actually get to one place to another much more, not faster, but it takes a little bit more time to go wherever place you want to go in the map. And obviously while you're walking there, you obviously have to either walk or crouch to not be seen in the radar, and obviously you have to be looking out for anyone that's either behind you or camping of some sort. It just feels like you're basically watered down with a bunch of weights on your character, and you have to make sure you're not being flanked or being shot or sniped from a distance, and it will take some time to get used to. But again, this is basically my first experience, so my opinions of this game will change over time when I actually decide to invest in this game a bit more, if I were to decide to. And that just basically just wraps on my end, just basically summarizing CSGO. And if you want the conclusion about this, we'll actually continue playing CSGO a bit more. I'll say it's a 50-50, depends on if I actually want to jump back in and develop my skill even further, or cover in more Blizzard's Overkill, as we're supposed to get much more updates on the game much more soon than expected, because Mad Madness is almost done patching everything up, and I will actually have a video for you guys much more later in the day when that comes, if you actually decide you want to update your game to the latest unofficial patch with all the balance changes and probably even the new weapons that old class will actually get too. So keep a lookout for that. So that just wraps up my experience of CSGO. If I actually said anything negative about the game, don't take it too seriously, because I'm very new to the game of CSGO. I'm still learning of all the stuff that has to offer. And if you guys have any critiques on my gameplay of CSGO or things I could improve on, please go ahead, comment down in the comment section. I will respond with some questions or actually we'll take your suggestions and try to implement them with my gameplay so that I can actually continuously improve in the game of CSGO. So that wraps it up on my end. I hopefully you enjoyed this very first impressions of me playing CSGO for the very first time. And this is Fruit Samurai, and I'll see you guys in the next video.